Dunkirk is directed... Dunkirk is directed by Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is his 10th feature. Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is his 10th feature. Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is his 10th feature-length film.
Stupid math!
Just trying to confuse me with all its numbers. Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is his 10th feature-length film.
And it stars a Christian Bale lookalike, One Direction, Bane, Christopher Nolan's go-to actor Cillian Murphy, and a special cameo from Michael Caine's voice.
So, this movie is about the Germans flying over French people. This movie takes place during the Battle of Dunkirk, which was in World War II. And in this movie, we have the French, the British, and Belgium all trying to evacuate and go home. But during this time, the Germans are still aggressively attacking them. Dunkirk is Christopher Nolan's very first historical fiction movie. And going into this, you know, I haven't really seen Christopher Nolan do anything like this, so I wasn't really sure how he was going to pull this off. He usually goes into mainly his own entire ideas, so I was trying to figure out what he was going to do with this movie, and I really did love Christopher Nolan's direction in this film.
Yeah, I do want to start off by saying while I did like this movie, it was sort of a disappointment to me. But I do want to begin with some of the good points I have about this movie, which, like Marquez said, I did love the direction from Christopher Nolan in this movie. The special effects especially, the intensity and the reality of the situation that these characters were in, which I don't know how much CGI was used in this movie, but you couldn't really tell that much CGI was used because it all looked so real.
Now also the cinematography was pretty freaking amazing in this movie. From the very first scene, it was just so great. And also, one big thing about this movie is from the very beginning all the way to almost the very end, it is just non-stop. You are just so intrigued about what's going on because they don't really give you a break from ever having a slight amount of fear that something is going to start shooting out or some bomb's going to hit or something like that.
Sweetheart, how many times have I told you, don't say it.
Or something like that.
Just say
something is going to start shooting out or some bomb's going to hit.
Yeah, to go along with that, the sound mixing and sound editing for this movie was phenomenal because there's explosions, there's bombs, there's planes flying overhead and everything, and it truly made you feel like you're in the battlefield with these soldiers. We didn't watch it in an IMAX theater, but I can imagine watching it in one would be completely mind-blowing. So I actually recommend if you're going to go see this movie to go to an IMAX theater.
Now this movie doesn't have a lot of dialogue. A lot of times it's just people just kind of being silent, and it really relies off of Hans Zimmer's fantastic score. And Hans Zimmer is truly a genius. I don't know if there's one score of his that I've actually heard that I don't really like and doesn't really put me more into the movie. And this movie is no exception to that.
The acting in this movie is pretty above par, I would say. Harry Styles was probably one of the standouts because, to be honest, I didn't really expect him to be a very good actor. And it's funny because Christopher Nolan has actually come out in interviews saying that when he casted Harry Styles, he didn't even know how famous he already was from One Direction.
Maybe Christopher Nolan will do One Direction's next music video. Now another thing about this movie is that there's a lot of things going on. There are a lot of different plot points, and I feel like what this movie did really well was they structured it to where all the different plot points actually really went smoothly throughout the entire movie. Now that kind of also brings me to my negative, and this negative didn't really take a lot away from the movie, but I feel like they tried their best to have all these plot points and tried so hard to focus on all these plot points and make sure that they flowed well that they kind of forgot to get fully in depth of some of the characters that they actually exclusively showed to us. And so because of that, I felt like I wasn't as invested as I should have been in some of the main characters of this movie. But I will say, I did feel a certain amount of care for them in a way.
And I feel sort of the opposite of what Marquez just said. I feel like because they didn't make us invested in these characters, the plot sort of felt stagnant in most of the movie. Obviously there is a plot, but I feel because we don't have certain characters to feel invested in, it didn't really feel like it flowed forward like it should have. And talking more about the characters, obviously I felt for them. I'm not a cold-hearted person, they're human, so I felt for them on a human level. But from a movie standpoint, they didn't make us feel for them.
Well guys, I really did love this movie a lot. I would fully recommend anybody to go see it. It was beautifully directed, beautifully acted. And so I'm going to go ahead and give Dunkirk an A-.
Yeah guys, I don't think that this is an awful movie by any standard, but I don't feel like it's a super great movie either. So I'm going to give Dunkirk a B-.
Well guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment below and let us know what you thought about this movie. Also, let us know how you would rank this movie and all the movies that Christopher Nolan has directed.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2 Awesome Men.
And also, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later. Did they break up? Oh man, I don't even know about that.
Oh my god.
I thought only one person.
Did you live under a rock?
I thought only one person left. What was his name? Like Chase or something?
Not even close. Zane.